Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock. It's a Monday. It's time for a 5x5. This is where I take 5 subjects related to magic. I spend 5 minutes talking about each subject and then I move on. It's quick, it's snappy. You never know what you're going to get. And today I'm going to be doing another one of my kind of retrospects on a particular performer. So if you've missed these, I did Paul Daniels a few weeks ago, and I've also done Wayne Dobson a few weeks ago, where I take 5 of the tricks and I present them to you in case you haven't seen them before, and then I talk about why they're so good and why the particular performer I'm talking about is so good. Now this week I'm going to talk about who I considered to be one of my favourite magicians of all time that unfortunately passed away very recently, Scott Alexander. Now, Scott Alexander, in my opinion, was one of the best comedy magicians the world has ever seen. Anyone who's seen his amazing products, anyone who's seen his Penguin Lives, anyone who's seen his Christmas specials at Penguin will know he wasn't just entertaining, but he was also incredibly knowledgeable, incredibly creative, and in my opinion, one of the best magicians in the world. And I believe that magic is in a worse place with Scott not in it. And I wanted to do a video like this on Scott for a while, and I thought this was the perfect opportunity. So I'm going to show you footage of Scott Alexander performing live 5 different sets, 5 different tricks, and I'm going to talk about them. Now, I have purposefully picked 5 tricks that people might not have seen or might not be aware of that showcase just how varied Scott's talents were, because Scott was a great kids magician, a great close-up magician, a great stand-up performer, a great comedian. He was a great illusionist. He really did run the gauntlet. He did it all, and he did it all brilliantly. So I've picked 5 routines that I think showcase that. I'm not doing a lot of his, I'm not showcasing to you a lot of the stuff that he released as products, because we're all aware of a lot of those routines. Instead, I wanted to show you something a little bit different. So here it is, 5 routines by Scott Alexander that I think show just how incredible a performer he was. Okay, so trick number 1 is his performance, his handling of Miser's Dream. Now, you're going to see this performance in a minute, but Miser's Dream is a classic of magic, and it's a classic for a reason. What's the reason? The reason is it's so magical. You know, you're making coins appear. It's the base level of what everybody would do if they could do magic. If you could really do magic, you would make money appear, and that's what Miser's Dream is all about. It's all about making money appear. Now, Scott Alexander never marketed a Miser's Dream, but he performed it, and he performed it brilliantly. The footage you're going to see in a minute is Scott performing on a ship. I think it's probably a Disney cruise liner. He did a lot of those, and it's him performing mainly to an audience of kids. I think there's probably adults in the audience as well, but it's mainly an audience of kids. And I want you to see his understanding of performing magic for children. I meet so many magicians who never perform for kids. They refuse to perform for kids. They just won't do it. It's just not something that they'll do. And I firmly believe that if you do learn to perform magic for children, it will make you a better magician. And you don't have to come across as a clown to be able to use techniques like look, no, see. You don't have to come across as a clown to be able to perform magic for children. And Scott showcases this brilliantly. With nothing more than a bucket and a few coins, he lights up an audience for a few minutes with one of the best presentations of Miser's Dream that I've ever seen. This is not a presentation done to music. This is not a presentation that's done in an epic way. This is designed specifically for one reason and one reason only, which is to make sure that every single kid in that audience has an amazing time. Look at how he interacts with the children. Look at how he uses the look, no, see. Look at how he uses the whole idea of, hey, don't throw them anymore. You know, he's got the kids eating out the palm of his hand. He knows exactly what he's doing to maximize the reactions from that audience. And notice every single kid is absolutely hanging off every word. And also have a look at how he manages the kids that come up on stage and help him. Look at how he manages that audience and how he deals with the kids that come up on stage. Honestly, if you perform Miser's Dream, or if you want to perform Miser's Dream, just watching this video is a masterclass, and it just showcases for me how versatile a performer he is. The fact that he can do this And then you look at something like AGT and you see him performing on AGT, Big Illusions, you see that he literally runs the gauntlet when it comes to being a professional magician. So here it is. This is a video of him performing Miser's Dream to an audience of kids. Let's have a look at this performance right now.
You know what else she does? She'll reach behind your ear and take some money. Yeah, she will. Did you know that? She will reach right behind your ear and she'll take out money, just like that. Yeah. That's where money comes from. A lot of people don't realize that, but that's exactly where money comes from. You're worth a lot of money to your mom. Yeah. You just reach right in there and take money out, just like that. Yeah. You can just take it out right like that. Now see, dads don't do that. Dads don't do that. You know what dads do? Dads do, they come in one time, they do like this, and then they leave you alone. Yeah. Now tell you what you can do. Do me a favor. Here, this is kind of cool. Hold out your arm. Then you need to take money like this. I tell you what, this is pretty cool too. This is pretty cool. Touch your ear. Good. Now take your hand and put it in there. That's pretty cool. Just do that. Do that again. Do that again. Touch your ear. Put it in there. Do it again. I tell you what. Get her. Go ahead. Get her. Touch her ear. Touch her ear. Okay. Now put it in there. Good. Get him. Right there. Get him. Go get him. Go ahead, you get off the stage. Go stick your finger right in his ear. Get it. Come back up here. Put it in. Good. All right. Here, go get the big guy right there. Go get the big guy. There he is. Get him. All right, now drop it in slow. Oh, he's broke. All right, let's see. Take a big bow, Andreas. Take a big bow. Go, take a big bow. There he is. Andreas, everybody. Now, I tell you what, you guys can all do this. Everybody touch your own ear. Okay, good. Raise your hand up in the air like this. Now, everybody throw it up here. Wow, okay. Wow, all right, good. Now, okay. Now that's enough. Now, here's what we're going to do. I said that's enough, okay? Now here's what we're going to do. I said that is enough, all right? Now here's what we're going to do. All right. If I take my hand off this bucket, you promise you're not going to throw anymore? Okay, good, because here's what I'm going to do. You guys are making the magician mad now, all right? Obviously, you guys can't be trusted. All right, so now what I'm going to do... Hi, what's your name? Owen? Come here, Owen. Everybody give Owen a big round of applause. Come on up here, Owen. Hi, Owen. How you doing? See it right there, face the audience. Hold on to that button with 2 hands. Hold it nice and tight, just like that, okay? Very good. Now, Owen, it's very important that you remain perfectly still. Can you do that? Don't move, okay? Because the last kid I did this to, he moved. I had to turn him into a duck. Doing good. Stand still, ready? Lean forward just a little bit. All right. Good job. Keep it moving on. Go ahead. Give on to the ground. All right, one more. Let's do one more. Let me see. Hi, what's your name? Matthew. Come on up here, Matthew. This is kind of weird. Wait a minute. This is kind of weird. Are you sure you want to see it? It's weird. You really want to see it? Do you want to see it, Matthew? All right, come on over here. Stand right over here, Matthew. This is weird, okay? Here's what I want you to do, Matthew, all right? You got to do this right or it won't work, okay? You do exactly what I do. You ready? Go like this. Good. Now do it to the other leg. Give Matthew a big round of applause. for kids on Disney. I make lots of money.
Okay, so we're going to go from coin magic for kids to a grand illusion, and now I'm going to show you a very old video of Scott Alexander and Jenny performing the sword basket. Now, for those people that don't do illusions, understand that the sword basket is literally one of the oldest tricks in the book. These days, there's so many incredible illusions that are so clever when it comes to how they're done and how they're executed. There's so many wonderful illusions. The sword basket is kind of something that you don't see many illusionists do. It's kind of like the equivalent, it's not, but it's kind of like the equivalent of you're not doing that latest and greatest card trick. Instead, you're going and doing the 21 card trick or something like that. You know, something that's been around forever. Everybody knows what it is. But the reason I wanted to show you this video is to show you how Scott Alexander's creativity is above and beyond anything else that I've ever seen. Because you see, most people that do illusions, they do it exactly the same as each other. They have a track that they pick, they put the girl in the box, they do whatever needs to be done, they take the girl out of the box, the trick is over. That's how they've always done it. That's how it's been done for years and years and years, right? Scott has taken the sword basket and he's really made it his own. And watch this performance, watch it. Just the little bits that he's added. This is another masterclass, but this is a masterclass in how to take a trick and make it your own. It's about how understanding your character, which is that of a comedy magician, and understanding that as a comedy magician, you need to be able to do everything in a comedic way, including doing the illusions. Now, the way that he actually performs this sword basket does not take away from the impossibility of it. It's a great performance of the sword basket, but the little bits he adds with the hand coming out to grab the money, with the guy wanting the money in order to do the the final sword, throwing this, all of it, the hand coming out. I don't want to ruin it for you. This is a perfect example of somebody sitting there and going, right, okay, here's the prop. Let's have a look at everyone else doing it. Right, now, how am I going to do it? I need to do it differently. I need to make it my own. And I think whether you're a close-up magician, whether you're a stage magician, whether you're a kid's magician, you should be able to do that as well with your magic. You should look at a prop and go, right, okay, this is great, but I now want to do this in a completely different way. And honestly, this is probably my favorite performance of any illusion ever. And it's what Scott Alexander was so good at. It's why people considered him one of the best creators in the world. Let's have a look at Scott Alexander and Jenny performing the sword basket. Okay, so I said we weren't going to perform, or I wasn't going to showcase any of Scott's marketing tricks. I lied. I want to showcase one particular trick, which is Applejack, and it's one that kind of flew under the radar. A lot of people didn't really kind of get it, or didn't. I don't think it was as popular as some of his other releases. And I've got Applejack, and I do Applejack in my show. And one of the reasons that I love Applejack so much is seeing Scott Alexander's performance of it. Now, Scott, if you ever get Applejack or you see the tutorial, there's 2 live performances, one in front of an adult audience and one in front of an audience of kids. And he takes the same prop and he makes it work both in the audience of kids and also for the adult show. He makes it work. He performs the exact same effect, but does it completely differently. Like, I'm talking completely and totally and utterly differently. So how does he do that, right? How does he do that? Well, he does that by taking the prop, understanding the audience that he's performing for, and changing the presentation in order to match the audience. And I'm going to show you the performance he does with a bunch of kids. Look at how he approaches this situation. Look at how he approaches the bow and arrow. You know, Applejack, when he's performing it for adults, the silk goes up in the air and boom, he hits it and it vanishes. But with this, you've got the bow and arrow and you've got the whole thing just makes sense. And again, please notice he's performing in a completely different environment. This looks more like a school type environment as opposed to what we were looking at before with the Miser's Dream. And yet he's got every single kid hanging off his every word. They are literally just wanting to hang off his every word. The presentation makes sense. It's funny. They're laughing. The whole thing is great. You know, I remember interviewing somebody on Magic TV once, and they said that if you're a kid's magician, you're going to really struggle to be an adult magician because if you have that ability to make kids laugh and kiddie up a performance, that's going to cross over when you're performing for adults. And I disagree with that, really, to be honest, in my opinion. And I think if I ever had an argument about this, I'd go, Exhibit A, Scott Alexander. Here's a guy, watch this performance of Applejack and see how funny it is. He looks like one of the best kids entertainers in the world, but without being a clown. Now go and watch him in a comedy club. It's polar opposites. And it's a perfect example of how Scott adapted his style, his performance. He adapted everything to fit the audience that's in front of him. And I think one thing that we should learn as performers from watching something like this from Scott Alexander is understanding that the routine needs to change depending on the audience that's in front of you. Rather than trying to do the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, it needs to change. And this is the perfect example. Here is Scott Alexander performing Applejack.
How old are you? That many? 6. Awesome. I love this. Now, have you ever heard of the story of William Tell? Oh, let me tell you the story of William Tell. See, William Tell was a famous archer. He could shoot a bow and arrow better than anybody else back in the olden days. Did you know that? And he actually had a beautiful daughter. A beautiful daughter. And one day, the daughter, she smelled just like jelly donuts. Yeah, just like jelly donuts. And one day, there was an ogre who came into town who loved jelly donuts. And he captured the daughter and locked her in a tower. Yeah, I know this is all true because I looked it up on Wikipedia. It's very true. So, and what happened is, then the giant said that he would give William Tell his daughter back if William Tell would shoot an apple off of her head with his bow and arrow. True story. High five. Nice job, nice job. Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to need to have an apple. So I have an apple over here, and what I'd like to do is hold your hands out like this, and I'm going to let you hold on to the apple, okay? Just like that. Perfect. And I'm going to draw a picture of the apple. I'm going to draw a picture of the apple right here in this little handkerchief, okay? See, we'll make a round circle and a little stem, and we'll just draw a little leaf on it so it looks kind of like an apple. And what I want you to do is I want you to put your initials. So your first name is Valerie, so that would be a V, right? Put a nice V inside that apple for me. Cool. And what's your last name? Put a T. Very good. And then I'm going to put my name too. S-A for Scott Alexander. handkerchief like it in the whole wide world. Isn't that right? Cool. Now I want you to hold on to it for me, okay? Very good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that handkerchief and I'm going to put it on the end of this magical wand arrow. And then I'm going to shoot it into the apple that you will be holding on top of your head. Awesome. Okay, so what I want you to do is to take the apple, hold it right here on top of your ponytail, and don't move, okay? Perfect. Here's what we're going to do. Just like William Tell, I will take this handkerchief and this magical wand arrow, and I will shoot it into the apple, okay? Now don't worry because I am an expert at this, right? All right, Valerie, are you ready? Here we go. I'm going to shoot it right into the... Hold on a second. Put that back up there. Don't you move. You stay still. All right. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. All right. Don't you move. Stop giggling. All right. I can do this for real. I can do this for real. Watch. We're going to hang this right over here like this, and then I'm going to shoot it right into the middle of that apple. It's going to be unbelievable. You're not even going to believe this. This is going to be so awesome. Okay, because I am an expert at this. So here's what we're going to do. You sit down. Get over there. What in the world? What are you giggling for? All right. All right. We're going to try this one more time. All right? One more time. I can do this. I can do this. Okay. I can. Ow! All right. All right. All right. All right. I can't keep this straight. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. All right. I'm gonna hold on to this, and I'll have to do this a different way. I'll have to put the handkerchief and make it into a really tiny, tiny little ball. Otherwise, it won't work. Okay? A little tiny ball. That way, if it stays in a real tiny ball, then I can do this better. Okay, so it's in a nice tiny ball. All right, I have to make this stay into a nice tiny ball in order for this to work. Okay, don't you move. You stay there, Valerie. Now that it's in a nice tiny ball, I can do this. Keep it right here, don't move, and stay perfectly still. Because if you giggle, I can slip and I can miss, right? I can just knock that apple right off your hand. Okay. All right. So we're going to take this, we're going to put it here, and hopefully this will work. All right. All right. On the count of 3, I will shoot this right into the apple. Are we ready? Now, I need absolute silence, please. 1, 2. I'm giggling. 2. Now, if this works, you guys better give me a big round of applause. Big clapping time, baby. 1, 2, and. You know what I think? Did you see that red handkerchief disappear? I think it shot the red handkerchief into the apple. What do you think? Does that look pretty good? Looks like a real apple? Let's check this out. I'm going to take a bite right about here. Watch. Turn it on your back. Turn it on your back. Turn it on your back.
so we're back to the illusions now, and the next routine I want to share with you is Scott and Puck. So if you didn't know, Scott Alexander and Puck had a two-person show, and maybe I'm going to do a video at some point of Scott and Puck together, because the two of them together were incredible and very, very funny. And this particular routine is one of my favorite routines that they did. And again, it's a perfect example of taking an illusion that everybody does and working out a way to do it that's unique and different to anyone else. And I think that really exemplifies what Scott Alexander was so good at. And you put him together with Puck, and you put the two of them together trying to come up with that. Oh my God. Oh my God. So this is another illusion. This is the teacut illusion by Adrian Soler, which is a great illusion. If you haven't seen it, the idea is there's a frame, somebody stands into it, and you kind of almost look like you're sawing them in half and turning them on the side. It's a great illusion, really great illusion. Everybody does it the same way, which is to music. And it's just done to music, very dramatically or comedically, but it's just done to music. That's all that happens. And what Scott and Puck have done here is they've gone, okay, so what's the trick? Well, the trick is that we take somebody and saw them in half and turn them on their side. Okay, why? Well, that's the trick. Okay, but what's the reason for sawing them in half? Well, that's the trick. Okay, well, can we give a reason to this to make it make sense? And what they've done is they've combined, and this is just creative genius, they've combined the balloon swallow with teacut, with a balloon production, and combining all of that stuff together, we've got an amazing routine, absolutely amazing routine, which now makes total sense of the prop. Why are you sawing that guy in half and turning him on his side? Well, I'm doing it because I need to get the balloon back. That's why I'm doing it. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I can understand that. That makes sense. And now, this is, again, I don't want to keep using the word, but there's no other word to use. This is a masterclass in how to actually present a trick in a completely different way to anyone else. Forget about the fact that it's a stage illusion. Whether you're doing a stage illusion or a kid's trick or a stand-up trick or a close-up trick, a card trick, a coin trick, a piece of mentalism, whatever, we should all strive to do the same thing that Scott and Puck do here, which is take something that everybody does. And teacut is a very popular illusion. A lot of illusionists do it. Take something that everyone does and literally turn it on its head. Literally turn the whole thing on its head so that it's now nothing like, well, it's still the illusion. The illusion's the same, but the presentation of it and the whole routine structure is completely different. And it makes it unique and it makes it their own. And you know, back in the day when I first started doing illusion shows and I was going to sort of events where showcases, you know, like showcases where you showcase yourself to agents to hopefully get them to book you. The goal was to try and do something unique and do something different, because they've seen every illusion act under the sun. They've seen every illusion under the sun. You have to do something different in order to get them to sit up and pay attention. And, you know, this is an example of how to actually absolutely boss a showcase. But let's have a look at it. This is Scott Alexander and Puck performing teacut, and they're doing the balloon cut.
Make my day, make my day, make my day, make my, make my, make my day, make my day, make my day, Tuesday, get your booty on the floor tonight, make my day, make my day, make my day, make my, make my, make my day, make my day, make my day, make my, make my, make
Okay, so the final trick. What am I going to showcase? Because I could do 5 or 6 of these, to be honest, on Scott Alexander. A couple of weeks ago, I did one of these videos a few weeks ago on Paul Daniels, and I showed his chop cup routine. And I said it's one of the best chop cup routines I've ever seen. And I mean it. I mean, he built his reputation from doing chop cup. I wanted to finish off by showing Scott Alexander's version of the chop cup. Because like Paul Daniels, Scott does the chop cup on stage. And like Paul Daniels, it's very inspiring the way he does it. Because first of all, it shows that you can do it on stage. I remember seeing Mark James perform chop cup on stage, and he filled a massive stage with just this one little table and this one little silver cup. And it's the same thing that we see here with Scott Alexander. He's filling an entire stage with one little table and one little cup. But his approach to the chop cup is very, very different to somebody like Paul Daniels, for example. If you go back and watch the video that I put together of Paul Daniels on the 5x5, go into the 5x5 playlist, look it up. You'll see that Paul is very quick. Hey, if I take the ball and put it over here, it jumps under here. How's it going to go under here, goes over here? It's very entertaining to watch. Scott slows everything down. He slows everything down. He gets a moment where he gets a woman to come up on stage with him and gets her to hold her hand out and puts the cup on her hand. Everything is slowed down, and he's maximizing the entertainment and maximizing the comedy out of this one simple prop. And it just shows that there's more than one way to perform a trick. And I think if there's one thing that we've learned from examining some of the routines that Scott Alexander's done, if there's one thing that we can take away from this whole thing, it's that it's so important to make a trick your own. The amount of people that I've seen do chop cup and they're basically Paul Daniels clones, and they just do it the same way every single time. And there's no variation, and there's no difference, and there's nothing. It's exactly the same, and it's almost like watching a Paul Daniels clone. What Scott's done here is he's gone in completely the different direction. Now, I'm sure Paul Daniels wasn't his inspiration. I'm sure his inspiration is somebody else. But you can just see that there's more than one approach to using a prop. And really, what we need to do is we need to find the best way to perform a particular trick for us. That's what we need to do. As opposed to Paul Daniels' quick fire, boom, 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 boom. Scott slowed everything down. Works for him. You wouldn't see Paul Daniels performing it that way, but you see Scott Alexander perform it this way, and it works brilliantly. Both of them would light a room up with their versions of the chop cup because they're injecting their own personality into it, and you can see that they're having fun. And sorry to labour the point, but remember, that's what magic's all about. It's about having fun. It's about enjoying yourself. We are entertainers at the end of the day. We should be entertaining people, and I think that's probably the most important thing, and you can see that in this video. Let's have a look at Scott Alexander performing the chop cup.
And I would like to show you the oldest trick in recorded magical history. Well over 5,000 years old, invented by the ancient Egyptians. They called it the cup and ball trick. For those of you Egyptologists out there, it's spelled snake, snake, sideways guy, beetle. Now, if you would do me a favor, examine the cup. That's a very old cup, unearthed from the tombs of the pharaohs. Right. And I also have a little ball. Examine the ball. Good. And examine the magic wand, if you would. And what the hell? Examine the table. I got nothing to hide. What do I care? All right. So, the cup is empty, correct? Very good, thank you. And if you would drop the ball inside, good. 2 points for you. I'll take the magic stick. And now, I don't know if you know this, but there's actually a trap door in the bottom of the cup. I'll show you. Watch. Hello, people. Woo-hoo. That's 1 point for me. All right. Now, the ancient Egyptian magicians would take the ball, they would drop it into the cup, then they would shake it up. And it was your job to guess whether the ball was under the cup, in the hand, or in the pocket. Now, if you had to guess cup, hand, or pocket, where would you say it?
Hand.
Pocket. Okay, so we're just covering all the bases here. Good enough. It's not in the hand. It is not under the cup. It actually is in the pocket. Now, if I want the ball to go underneath the cup, That's where the magic wand comes in. The magic wand acts as a distraction. I wave here and tap here, and all of a sudden the ball seems to melt away into nothingness, travel down through the air, and land underneath the cup, just like that. Now there are two ways to make the ball appear underneath the cup. I can do it visibly or invisibly. This is visibly, watch. It will go from the pocket to the cup visibly. Not very impressive at all. Now I will make it travel to the cup invisibly. Watch. Takes about 10 seconds. That's my invisible watch. I got it the same place I got the ball. If anyone would like to buy an invisible watch, I'll be selling them after the show. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The invisible ball has now arrived underneath the cup. Just like that. Now, not only has the ball become visible, so is my watch. Oh. You want to see that again? Yes. No way. First time it's entertaining, the second time it's educational. Now, this trick, as I said, is well over 5,000 years old. There were pictures of it on the walls of the pyramids. It sort of looked like this. You people watch the Discovery Channel, you know what I'm talking about. Now, the ancient Egyptian magicians who performed this miracle thousands of years ago were known as fakirs. I'm not making that up, it's true. It's spelled F-A-K-I-R, which is the origin of the word faker. Now, if the magic happens in my hands, that's known as fakir sleight of hand. But if the magic were to happen in, let's say, your hands, that'd be a fakir miracle, wouldn't it? What is your name? Giselle? Yes. Would you help me for a moment? Let's give Giselle a nice big round. Now, Giselle, if I hold out your hand for me like this. If I were to take that ball and place it on the palm of your hand, can you feel the ball? Good. If I cover it with the cup, can you still feel the ball? Mm-hmm. Good. If I take the ball away, can you feel it now? Good. You just passed our sobriety test. What I want you to do is to squeeze the edge of the cup there with your fingers and thumb. Take your other finger rested lightly on top. It's going to be my job to take this ball, cause it to penetrate up through the bottom of your hand and land in the cup. All right? But first I have to make a small incision. I'm just kidding. 1, 2, did you feel it yet? Okay, hold on tight. Ready? Did you feel it?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to leave the ball right there on the table, isolated underneath the cup. Actually, I was doing this for a lady in the last show, and she said to me, "Scott, I know how you do that. You must have 2 balls." I do. I keep them both right there under the cup. Now, in over 5,000 years, people have indeed figured out that there are 2 balls involved in this little scam. But what I can't figure out is, where does the lemon come from? And if you can't figure out where the lemon comes from, you certainly can't figure out where the orange comes from. And that's the cup and ball trick.
So there you go. That's another 5x5 in the bag. I just want to say, rest in peace, Scott Alexander. I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for learning a lot of your magic. And, you know, thank you so much. Scott Alexander is an absolute legend. He really is. And he will be sorely missed. Do me a favor. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me think of the let me know what you think of the choices that I did for the Scott Alexander 5x5 special. Have you seen anything Scott's performed that you've seen that you really enjoyed? Let me know in the comments down below. Is there a particular trick that you have in your act that Scott created and designed and sold? In which case, I would love to know. And also, don't forget, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. And if you want to join the Netrix, you can do so. All you got to do is go to www.thenetrix.com. That's www.thenetrix.com. You can go and check it out and see what the fuss is about. I'll be back again tomorrow with another video. But once again, thank you so much for joining me. My name's Craig from Magic TV.